It is time for crowd control, and this week we've got 4 campaigns. I'm not sure how many of these are running or how
Some
many
are running, some
launching.
are coming this week. It's a mixture this time.
A lot are coming this week, though, and there's been no signs of slowing down. We see campaign after campaign after campaign.
Well, the 2 that I talked about the 2 that I picked are running. The first one has been running for about a week. I wanted to talk about it last week. The past 2 weeks, we had so many games to talk about. And I knew this one was going to get funded, and it's Speakeasy from Vital Lacerda.
Did it fund?
It's approaching $1 million right now.
It's good for him. He's an up-and-coming designer if you're not familiar.
Sure, if you've never heard of him. Speakeasy is an interesting game from him. I got to play this, actually, with him at Adam last year, 2 years ago? I don't remember.
Are you saying you designed Speakeasy?
No, I'm saying I played it with him. And it's different from a lot of his games. It feels different from his last couple, like Inventions and Weather Machine, where these big abstract games. Speakeasy is more thematic. It's about gangsters and prohibition.
Is this the gangster one? I didn't play it, but I did watch it being played.
You're actually just like literally like moving your like dudes around the map, driving your those cars around to transport booze back and forth, whatever they were called.
Those 1920s cars.
Making deals with gangsters, fighting for territory. So it's a lot more like Escape Plan, where it does kind of suck you in more than like the blown up abstract view of like.
You played a full game?
I did play a full game.
Prototype, of course.
Prototype. I can say the final version looks much, much better. Hopefully we're getting one so we can show it a little bit closer on the channel. But it looks absolutely phenomenal. And I swear I say this every single time he releases a game. But Ian O'Toole has killed it. Best cover yet. Like every time a cover comes out, I'm like, he can't top this. Speakeasy's cover and board is a work of art.
Yeah, if you're not familiar with Ian O'Toole, also kind of an amateur drawer in the board game space.
He's getting
I'm kidding.
Yeah.
Both of these guys are amazing at what they do.
So that's one I didn't think would need a lot of help, but I did want to make sure we talked about it.
Sure. And we will hopefully talk about it a little bit more on the channel if, fingers crossed, we get a copy of the game. This one, we did get a copy of the game. And we might live stream this because this is one of those types of games. I'm not sure how it'll be 2-player versus, say, more players.
Yeah, it goes up to what, 5?
This goes up to 5. 5 players. Citizens of the Spark. This one is from Thunderworks. And I had a chance to actually talk to the designer, Philip DeBerry, at Gen Con very briefly about this, and I got the lowdown there. I haven't had a chance to really dig through the rules completely, but to give you an idea of what this game is doing, it's going to be one of those games where you're drafting cards from this display, and all of these different citizens are represented by sort of like a set of cards that get added to a deck. And at the beginning of the game, depending on player count, you choose which citizens you want to use, almost Dominion style. And you shuffle all those up, and you're dealing them out into this grid. And on your turn, you're going to take, I think either a column or a row of all the cards and add them to your sort of community of cards down here. And you're basically set collecting them. Then after you do that, you select one of the citizens, put that above your area, and you use its power. And the power is going to be juiced by the number of those citizens you happen to have. And all the powers do all sorts of different crazy things, and that's where it gets interesting with the ones that you choose. Any game can feel very different than another. And the artwork is amazing. This doesn't take place in Ulos, I don't think.
No, this is a different world.
I think it's a new world, but I love the way this game looks.
I love the artwork.
And like I said, hopefully we'll get it live streamed for you.
All right, well, the second one I wanted to talk about just launched, and this is called Robo Rover 2077.
That's a mouthful.
This is a mouthful. The game is also, it is a beast of a game. It is also, and I will say this with as much love in my heart, it's a toy. This is a toy.
Oh, it's got some gimmicky stuff on the table?
Oh my gosh, it's got gimmicky stuff on the table, which this feels right at home with like those 90s games. Like this was like, the Dark Tower or Omega Virus.
Omega Virus.
It's all run by a central computer, and it's called the Fortress. And the idea is that, Earth has destroyed itself, and you're trying to survive in almost a post-apocalyptic wasteland with this smart fortress, and you're moving out to gather resources, bring them back to the fortress, all with the hope of getting hydrogen, which you need to make water. So you're making water, food, and soup to survive. But it's all done with a tablet that's connected to this, what looks like a fortress. You're seeing it right now. And this thing it has all the gimmicks you can imagine. When you take cards, you slot the cards in, and it grabs the cards, and it reads them, and it will make sound effects based on the card. It will tell you what's happening on the tablet based on the cards that you're sliding into it. When you collect water, there's a little thing that like water bubbles up in. When you do certain actions, steam comes out of the top. I mean,
What? Does it give smells off? Does this have scratch and sniff?
That'd be pretty amazing. But it does. You can even talk to it. They give you like a little walkie-talkie, and you can talk. It's got some voice recognition stuff, and then it's paired with a tablet. So the tablet plays your communications with other characters. It shows you your map. It tracks a lot of the stuff that you're doing. But it is still a board game. You still have a board. It's cooperative. You're moving out to these different locations, taking actions, trying to collect these resources, fulfill your tasks, and ultimately collect what you need to survive. So they kind of harken it to Pandemic, where it's one of those where you feel like you're bailing water all the time, just trying to keep afloat, trying to make sure you have the resources. But I'm a sucker for gimmicks. I mean, when it's something cool like this, where it feels like it was built into it, like it was a part of it. Like I loved Omega Virus as a kid, just the fact that thing would talk to me.
I have a copy, I think, of Omega Virus up in my attic.
Let's live stream that.
If I still have it, we'll live stream. If it still works and there's not corroded batteries at the bottom of it.
But definitely take a look. This does come with a bit of a price tag. It's like $300 for the deluxe Kickstarter edition.
I mean, it has a lot of stuff.
This thing is huge.
It has a lot of stuff.
It's crazy.
The last one we want to talk about, we won't talk about very long, but we do have this in our hot little hands too. This is Above and Below Haunted. This is a standalone Above and Below game. This is not an expansion to Above and Below. Ryan thought it was.
I was
just
surprised.
had to tell him otherwise. It does a lot of the same things. This is, I think, a refined and sort of streamlined version of Above and Below, but it does have this haunted word on it. And what that means, among other things, and like I said, we're going to have some content up on that, so if you want more details, check that out. But it has ghosts. One of the things you can do if you've played the game, you can hire people and add them to your area. When you hire people in this one, on the board, some of the people that you hire come with ghosts. Some of them don't. But if you hire ones with ghosts, you have to take the ghosts and you have to put them in the buildings that you've built. And then there's a whole nother action that you can take to sort of like get rid of the ghosts. And when you do that, you're able to take ghosts and put them on other players' buildings. So it's been a million years since I played Above and Below.
It's been a while for me too.
But I don't know. I imagine that's like a sort of heightened level of player interaction than existed in the other one. It still has all the same things too, with the narrative cards where you're exploring down into the caves. You're rolling some dice to figure out what you read in the book.
Narrative, of course.
Going through some of those skill checks and whatnot. But yeah, this one is launching this week as well, which is really cool. Like we've recently played Creature Caravan here on
that was a lot of fun.
And I loved it.
His designs are always good. I mean, Red Raven is hit after hit.
He's got a pretty good track record. So if you're interested in it, check out Above and Below Haunted and any of these other ones. In fact, if you have any questions about any of these, get down in the comments below and let us know what you think or what you want to ask. Let us know if there's some campaigns that we missed. There probably are. I mean, we had to shave this.
There's a ton.
We shaved this list down. But get down in the comments and interact, or come over to our Discord and interact even more. Until next time, though, make sure everyone has fun at the table, and we'll see you then.